Before we start this conversation, I want to tell you a little bit about the woman on our porch today. Ashleigh Bergman is a friend, a mother, and the founder of Milestones. But her story really begins when she was just 14 years old, working at one of the most iconic fashion destinations in Los Angeles and quietly falling in love with the world of jewelry. What started as a job turned into a lifelong passion, shaped by the people who mentored her, the stories she witnessed, and the ones she created. Today, she's built a brand that isn't just about jewelry. It's about memory, meaning, stories we carry with us, and the milestones we never forget. And this conversation is really about how those moments shape who we become and the legacy we leave behind. You're listening to Your Porch or Mine, where everyone's welcome to pull up a chair, share their story, and hopefully leave laughing at life's beautiful mistakes. I'm Diana Suarez Mucci, your host and your friend who's ready to listen, right here on Your Porch or Mine. We're going to get started with a laugh.
As we always do, you and I.
Hi, Ashleigh. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome to Your Porch or Mine.
Better your porch than mine. I'd rather be on with you.
Listen, I'm in Florida, so it's kind of nice out here. Well, you're in California, so it's got to be just as nice. What's the weather out there?
It's raining today, oddly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my porch is better today. It's really sunny out and it's spring and I see all the trees are blooming. How about over there?
It's not sunny. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Cheers to you. I have my coffee, so toast.
Mine has a lid, so you'll never know what it is.
Okay. You won't know what's in here either. You never know. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time of your day. You're such a busy businesswoman. And I'm happy to have you on the show. I want to first of all say I'm so happy to know you as a friend. We met, I want to say 5 years ago now. I was having this conversation with Alex about when you and Alex showed up at the retreat. It was Antoinette's, I think it was her second annual retreat in Ojai. And that was wonderful to meet you there and to see you in all of your jewelry glory. I was like, who is this woman? I was like scoping out all your jewelry. And you really have that look. So, how are you? First of all, I want to hear how you're doing. How's your day? What have you got going on today?
I'm great. It's always, my days are, they're all crazy. Like every day is different than the next. There's not like a set schedule in terms of like this day we do this. And so today I'm doing a little bit more personal than I am work, which is nice. I'm going to be celebrating my sister's 50th birthday this week. So I've just been running around doing a little surprise stuff and getting some stuff ready. But in the back end, I have, work going on. I have a client, Noah Wiley, and his wife, Sarah, are my clients. And I dress her jewelry for all the events that she has attended and is attending for Noah's honor. And this week he's getting honored as top 100 influential people. So I've just been trying to organize getting jewelry to New York for her, and that has been the focus of the morning, along with my sister.
Awesome. Let's go to the jewelry. I just am dying to hear about, how it all started. You own and you built an organization, a company. It's actually Ashleigh Bergman's Milestones. I love the name. So we'll get to the name of that. I want to understand the name. But first tell me what drove you to sort of have this amazing passion for jewelry? And you have such a gift because I'm following you on Instagram and I'm not a huge Instagram person, but you come up and I'm just obsessed with what you are sharing and all of the pieces and the combinations and the colors, and you're just fantastic at it. So I just want to know where it all started. If you could take me through that when you were a kid. I know you were really young.
I mean, I literally came out of the womb obsessed with fashion and jewelry, and probably because it's in my blood. My mom is an interior designer and an artist. She's always been super into fashion. My grandfather, my maternal grandfather, was did a million things as careers, but before he had his main career, which was my grandmother and him owned beauty salons. So again, in the beauty fashion space. But before that, he worked for jewelry designers, one in Beverly Hills called Glasner and Tiba. And he was like in charge of picking out the pearls that were going to be in Zsa Zsa Gabor's jewelry. So it's kind of just always been in my blood. And on my dad's side, his parents were in the shoe business. So like, again, retail has always been in my blood. Being a business owner, being a hustler, has always been in my blood. And I literally came out wheeling and dealing. So I started working when I was 14 by choice. Like I mentioned, I love shopping. I love fashion. I was always also making my own jewelry. And my parents said, if you want to keep shopping, you need to get a job because there's only so much you could do. So I decided, why not get a job at the place that I want to get a discount? So I started working at Fred Segal when I was 14 years old. And at the time, Fred Segal was just like the iconic fashion destination for people all over the world coming to see like what's the hottest, who are the newest designers that no one has. There was no internet back in that day. So we really discovered brands before anybody knew who they were. And people would come from Japan, come from Paris. Other designers were always shopping our stores and taking pictures, or people who were buyers from Target were always buying stuff and copying it and things like that. But yeah, we were really, I'd like to say it was like really cool to be part of such an innovative, because that really doesn't happen anymore, a launch pad for no-name designers who became huge.
Right. And you were at 14, you said? Just
I
all
was.
the 13. And
yeah, I started working at 14, and I was a pipsqueak. I was really small. I actually had a work permit because I did some acting as a kid. So I just kind of like knocked on the door so many times. They finally had to let me in. And they taught me everything. And I did everything, taking out the trash to how to tie the perfect bow, to what product to use to clean the plastic cylinders that held the hair clips. It's so funny because do you know what sense memory is? That like sometimes you'll smell something and it brings back a memory. There is a specific smell of the specific glass cleaner that we used to use that I actually yesterday was in a medical office and walked through the lobby, and I was like, whoosh, taken back. And I looked around, and this guy was cleaning the windows of the building. And I was like, that's the smell of my adolescence. Like that's it. That glass cleaner. It brings back a lot of memories. So I did that. I was there for over 18 years. I did go to college, but I came back. And when I was done with college, I ended up being a buyer at Fred Segal. I ended up also having a jewelry line with Fred's daughter that we wholesaled all over the world to different other retailers. Fred sold the business, long story, but I knew it wasn't going to be the same. And also I already did everything I could do there. And at the same time, Anthropologie came knocking at my door. That's another long, funny story for another time. But I ended up being the senior jewelry buyer for Anthropologie and all their 250 stores and their web business. And then it was time to come back to LA. Royce and I had our first child in Philadelphia, and Royce's business was here. And so he kind of let me have my turn, and then it was time to have his turn. So we moved back to LA, and that's when I started Milestones.
I do want to ask you a question about your experience at Fred Segal before we move on to Milestones, because I think when you're so young, as 14 years old, and you're learning all the things, and you put your hand, like you're throwing out the garbage, or like, what was the greatest lesson that you learned maybe about jewelry? Because you're so young, it's like, maybe there's something about yourself that you learned, but about that business that changed you.
There's so many things that come flooding back to me. It makes me emotional. I would say two things that really were important and instilled in me that are relevant for my business today. One is customer service, like above everything. My customer comes first, and I just will go at every length to make them happy. And that I learned at Fred Segal. It was just like, your customers were family. Even though we were like, the hottest store in LA, it was like people would go there on a daily, weekly basis, like to see like what's the latest, so you really built relationships with your clients, and they are clients, not customers. The second lesson I would say was Fred was kind of known for being a tyrant, but he always treated me with a lot of kindness. But when he came around, you really you stood up. We didn't have cell phones in that day. No one was looking at their cell phone, but they were like, you'd be like, I don't even know what you'd be doing, fucking around. You'd be fucking around doing something that you weren't supposed to be doing, whether it was talking to your hot coworker, the guy that worked in the next department, or drinking your iced tea or something that you were not supposed to be doing. And there was always something to be done. There's no downtime. There was always something to be done. Now, I know that's not the healthiest, but while you're at work, you're at work. And I'm still like that. For better or worse.
Ashleigh.
It just taught me like a work ethic.
Yeah.
That,
You don't have that anymore.
No, exactly. I can't believe that people are on their cell phones when you go into stores.
I know.
That sales associates are on their cell phones.
Right.
Like, if Fred saw that, he would rail you.
Right. I feel like we lost a little bit of that client magic of like really paying attention, looking at them, asking them questions, and maybe like we're missing that customer service, I think, right now. And I'm curious how you instill that now that you have Milestones. So tell me about that journey.
Well, you said the word magic, right? And there's no magic in retail anymore. I mean, I always say it, no one loves the smell of Windex on the glass more than I do. And I don't even go into stores anymore because it's almost depressing. You walk into a store and the person's on their phone. They don't even barely look up at you, And then they say the line that literally makes me run out of a store is, are you looking for something in particular? No, thank you. Okay, let me know if I can help you with anything. As like, you just killed the sale. Done. There's no sale after that. So, it's creating magic, what you said. And for me, it's a different landscape because I don't have a brick and mortar store. So 80% of my clients are shopping online or via text or DM. Some of my clients that I've had for years, I've never spoken to them. I've never heard their voice. Okay. It's all been text. It's crazy. But there's still, first, because my business is a digital business and I show up as myself on my Instagram for this reason, to create that magic. In the beginning of my business, when I first started Milestones 10 years ago, I didn't put myself on my Instagram. I was like, who wants to see me? There's no big deal. They just care about the jewelry, and I only posted jewelry. And I would go to these seminars and things and talks, and they would talk about how important it is to put yourself on your brand. And I was like, why? But then it clicked for me. Even though I was the buyer at Fred Segal, I was always on the floor talking to clients, finding out what they loved, what they were drawn to. And they would always ask me, oh, who makes your shoes? Where should we go for dinner tonight? What bag are you wearing? And it's like, oh, that girl, she has the hottest shoes. She knows the hottest restaurant. I love her bag. Yes, I can trust her to buy that $10,000 ring. And then I understood. I have to put myself on Instagram. I have to show them that I'm a real person, that when they're doing business with me, they're not doing business with some huge corporation that, it doesn't mean as much as when you're dealing with me. People are DMing me. People are calling, and I answer the phone sometimes in the office, and it almost like takes them a second and they pause. I'm not like famous or anything, but they're like, because I'll say Milestones by Ashleigh Bergman, this is Ashleigh. And there's quiet. And I'm like, hello. And they're like,
oh my God, I'm talking.
The Ashleigh?
Ashleigh?
And I'm like, yeah, like, what's up? Hi, it's me. What can I do for you? So there has to be that element of like personalized. And for my business, what I've noticed is the magic that you speak of is authenticity.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. I would absolutely agree. And that's when you start to trust people, is when you are putting yourself out there and you are the face of the brand. So tell me about your brand. Tell me about Milestones and how you decided to leave Anthropologie and go off on your own.
Well, it was kind of a mutual decision, to be honest with you. I don't like to say I got fired because getting fired means like you're getting kicked out. But I was there for 10 months, and they originally had hired me because they wanted to change the face of Anthropologie jewelry and make it more high-end. So they got someone from the high-end world to sort of make that translate. And in the beginning, I was doing really well there. And then it just kind of started to peter off. I think that their girl wasn't ready for my stuff because someone said to me yesterday, like, you're very coastal, like very New York, very LA, but like not everybody in the middle is ready for what you're bringing, you know? So, I mean, we've come a long way since then, but back then it was like a little bit harder and they wanted me to push the envelope, but it wasn't really working. So we both agreed that it was time to move on. And simultaneously, my husband was like, it's time to move on. I got to get back to my business in LA. And we also had a 10-month-old who our family wanted back, but Anthropologie was amazing. And they said, you should start your own consulting company and we'll be your first clients in the interim of us finding someone to replace you. Like, we need you. So I started consulting for them. I started consulting for some stores in LA, and brands, designers heard I was back. And there's nothing like a buyer to like help you, because as a brand, you want to know, like, what is the buyer looking for in my assortment? What price points? Like, does this make sense? And what am I missing? So I consulted for some brands. And to be honest with you, I was bored because I was really dying to get back to the client. Again, I mentioned I was always on the floor at Fred Segal, even though I was the buyer. And at Anthro, it was like grad school. It was like just charts and Excel sheets and shit that I did not understand, but I learned, and it was like a fake it till you make it for sure. And I just like decided, like, I really miss helping people, and people were calling me anyway, like, oh, I need an engagement ring. Can you help me with this? And I need a gift for my wife's birthday. Can you help me with this? And I had relationships with designers of 20 plus years. They would just give me whatever I want without, with a handshake, no check writing, no nothing, until I actually sold it. Then I would give them a check. So it started like that. And I love my kids and I love being a mom, but like I was a full-time mom when I left Anthro for about like 2 months. And I was like, if Taco Bell is hiring, sign me up, get me the fuck out of here. I can't do this. Like, I need to work. I've been working since 14. This is just too hard. Being a mom is so hard.
It's so hard.
I needed to talk about diamonds. I was done talking about poops. Like, so I started just, helping a few people here and there. And then I started posting stuff on Instagram, and people start buying stuff from me from all over the world that don't know me. Again, I didn't have my face on my Instagram, and just like, there's something here. So that's kind of how it began. And obviously the word Milestones, it's like a play on words. I really believed that jewelry is so much more than an adornment. For me, the most important jewelry that I own is the gift that, my ruby bangle that I wear every day that my husband gave me for my push present, my signet ring that I wear every day that my girlfriends got me for when I had Ruby, my mom's charm bracelet from when she was 16 and when she met my dad and when her, all the things. And it just marked milestones in our lives. And obviously the word stones is in Milestones, and it just made sense. So that's where it started. And now 10 years later, we've got, a great, amazing team. It's a coincidence that it's all women. It's not intentional, but it's amazing. We have the best time together, and
no fun.
Our site is,
gorgeous,
just so much fun. And we have so much fun with the Instagrams and all the things.
Yeah. When we were talking yesterday a little bit, I was sharing with you what I believe, and I love I love that name, Milestones, that double meaning. But like, as I said, I'm a storyteller, right? Like, we're talking about stories here. I always love to get a good story, and your story is so interesting. And the jewelry, I think, it does mark, like, when you look at a piece of the jewelry that you're wearing, it's like, oh, I remember when I got it. I remember who gave this to me. My husband gave me this bracelet. My sister gave me this bracelet. All the pieces that someone wears in jewelry that's important to you. There's some exception if you get like some fashion jewelry, but the real stuff, right? The stuff that lasts a lifetime. Those are the things to me that I always can say. And then when, you see, this was when what happened? Like, this bracelet that I bought for myself, we were talking about that yesterday. I bought this bracelet for myself when I was divorced, after I was divorced. And I said, man, I have never bought myself a piece of jewelry. And you always go like, well, it's too much money and maybe I shouldn't get it. And I just said, screw it. I'm going to buy myself a bracelet. That's my own present for me. And I wear it, and I remember that. I remember like, oh, what? And then yesterday you were like, and you should buy yourself another piece. What do you think about that? About people getting themselves, women in particular, buying their own gifts?
Let's just say I'm all for it. I mean, I always buy my I think
Love it.
receiving sentimental gifts is wonderful, but I would have to say at least 70% of the purchases through our business are self purchases. And I am like, more power to you, girl, and or boy, whatever. I just love the idea that, you know, you're empowered to treat yourself. And in my opinion, you always, you know, should make yourself feel excited and good. And yes, it doesn't make you who you are. It only like brings out the best of who you are. I think about like my tennis necklace that I wear every single day. I'm like, I worked so hard for that. And I just like, it's my badge of honor. And I see nothing wrong with that. I see only positives there about buying yourself jewelry.
I love
going.
that. I love it. And then
And because it is, you know,
Yeah.
tends to be more expensive, it's like,
Right.
it's like you can set a goal and like you can get there, you know, it doesn't have to
Right.
be, you know, all the time. It could be a long-term goal, you know,
Right.
and that makes it even more special
like layaway. Do you do layaway? Do you remember layaway?
for you. For you, I would.
I would do my parents, actually, my mom would do layaway. That back in the day, guys, layaway was like they put the item in the closet in the back room. And every week my mother would come and like pay, you know, $5, another, and then she'd finally get her the blouse that she wanted. How cute.
It's very cute. Well, I go one step further, Diana. For you, I'd let you take the item and pay me. I keep a credit. And I'm old school too. I'm like taking notes with my freaking pen. I'm old school. I was raised on a cash register, girl. So
Yeah.
I'll let you do layaway any day. I'll pay on credit, whatever. You have credit with me, meaning.
Oh, great. I'm ready. I've got my eye on a few things, a few pieces. What do you think about repurposing jewelry? You know, I've been married, divorced, married, divorced, married,
Stories.
married to the same man twice. And I had this ring in my first divorce, and I was like, what am I going to, you know, I had diamonds. She got me these beautiful 2 rows of diamonds. And then I decided, you know, what am I going to do with this? I'm not just going to save it put it in a safe and wait until I'm dead to give it to my girls, you know, or whatever, to the kids to divide, whatever. So I decided to take a couple of the diamonds and make them a necklace. And this is the necklace that I made them and for myself, so we could all be twinsies plus one.
Love.
Do you have women that, you know, reach out to you and want to repurpose some of their stuff? And do you remember any of those stories of how
Yes,
you help maybe
absolutely.
someone out?
So first, I want to say 2 things. One is the jewelry does no good in the safe. End of story. So when you're buying jewelry, like when people buy jewelry and I help them, whatever, they're thinking like, oh, I'm going to buy this for a special occasion. No, don't do that. Buy it to wear it. The special occasion is every single day of your life that you're breathing and you want to feel good. Like wear it. So it's an interesting story to go off on a little tangent. I mentioned to you Nina Segal, who was my boss and my business partner, my mentor, one of my dearest friends, one of my bridesmaids. She told me many years ago that when she bought this bracelet, we bought a lot of jewelry together. She bought this bracelet, this vintage bangle, and I just loved it. And she always joked with me, like, I'm going to leave it to you in my will. She was here 4 months ago. She's only 10 years older than I am. And she goes, I brought you something. I go, what? And she brings me the pearl bangle. And she goes, why am I going to wait till I'm dead to give this to you? Like, I want to see you wear it. And she literally gave it to me. Like, to your point, like, you shouldn't wait till you're dead to pass these things on to your girls. Like, how much, if you're not wearing it, more enjoyment to either pass it down or repurpose it and give it to someone that you can see, you know, and feel that your energy on them. Like, I absolutely love that I have her with me every day, because we used to be together every day and now we don't see each other but like 3 times a year. And I love that I have her on me, you know, her essence in me, with me, around me every day. So that's 1. 2, yes, repurposing. We do that all the time for clients, whether it's a divorce or it's my mother passed me down these earrings and they're just not my style, or I only wear yellow gold and these are white gold and I want to make them more modern. We do that all the time. we just did a pair of earrings that I loved. Someone, had these beautiful diamond studs that were in this platinum vintage setting and they were stunning. But she's like, I want a little upgrade, not an upgrade the diamond, but like an upgrade in the style. So we put a beautiful gold bezel on. And when you just saw when she got them, I mean, her face just lit up. She was just like obsessed and so excited to wear them. So again, they were sitting there being unworn for years. They're gorgeous diamonds. So yes, we do that all the time.
One of my closest friends, just like you, she loves jewelry and she designs jewelry. She designed this ring for me. And again, just sort of like I wanted to wear it and just zhuzh it up. There's a word of zhuzhing it up. And her mom passed away, unfortunately, a few years ago and had left her with a lot of jewelry that was in a safe. And so she's been, repurposing some of that jewelry, and it means so much to her to have it, but to be able to wear it, like you said, like I said the same thing about that necklace, about the diamonds that were on that ring. Like I could keep it in the safe, or I could enjoy seeing my girls enjoy this piece that means a lot to them. It really does, because they're like, well, this is a diamond that dad gave mom, that mom gave me, and I got particular diamonds around it. And maybe a lot of people are not into jewelry. Everybody is, but I find it.
I don't know them.
Who's not? Come on. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I love it. And I just find that there's so much meaning and symbolism. And like you said, you're carrying her with you. Like you're feeling her persona, her presence in a way when you're gifting somebody or you're getting it for yourself. There's stories, there's memories, milestones. I love it. I love talking about jewelry. I think the jewelry and the human experience, I honestly, it might sound weird, but I just think that it's so meaningful. Maybe even like years and years ago, it all started.
I think from the beginning of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to do a little history lesson on jewelry. Yeah.
Send me the clip notes.
Yeah, I will. I have to. So tell me, you're celebrating 10 years. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's a big milestone. Ching.
Yeah, it is a big milestone. So what are you doing? What do you see yourself, in your brand? Where are you going next with it?
So I actually decided for our 10th anniversary or 10th birthday that we were going to rebrand, because for a couple of reasons. One is I like change, and, I thought like a new font and a new logo would be fun. But also I found myself personally in the last few years, kind of going in a new direction in my personal life. As you know, when I met you, I was like on the beginning of this kind of spiritual journey when I turned probably around when I was 40, I guess. And just wanting to like tap into something deeper. Again, I'm in this business that can be vapid. It can seem superficial, but like I knew there was something more. So as I went in on my own personal spiritual journey, I realized like I have my career world here and my personal world here. And there was a part of it that I wasn't meshing. That spiritual part wasn't translating over. And I didn't feel authentic about that, because that is a big part of my life. Shit, I talk to your daughter, I don't know how many times a week.
Oh my God.
Literally. So thank you for giving me, literally, talk about gift. That is the best gift you've ever given me in this world. Is your child.
She is a gift. I'm so lucky. Yeah, she passed.
Is a gift.
I was able to be that, conduit where she came into this world. She is a blessing and a gift. And I'm so glad she's impacting your life in such a positive way, which then impacts other people, right? Like, so so keep going. Sorry.
Oh my God, that's okay. It's true. I just got the chills. It's such a ripple effect,
It is.
So,
it is.
And thanks to your present/ex/present husband for also. I always tease you about that. I'm going to go to the grave teasing you about that. So anyhow, because, you can get jewelry from anywhere, and I'm not selling anything that necessarily is so different than anybody else. I may put it together a little bit differently than someone else, but really you could buy the same charm from me that you can from them. So I was like, what makes me different? What value can I give my clients, my customers, my clients my friends, my community that is just me. And the truth is that I really came to the conclusion that, because people are always saying to me, oh, I can't put that together like you, or can you put this together for me because I can't do that, or oh, I can never wear that like that, or, which is like, well, why? Why can't you? Of course you can. Absolutely anybody can do this. This isn't a mathematical equation that I invented that like is a scientific thing that like no, it's feeling, it's instinct, it's confidence, it's belief. It's like in fact, somebody else may think I look batshit crazy wearing these necklaces like this, or, but some people really love it. So those people can do it if they want. And it was all about really wanting to like empower people. I created this little phrase. It goes, spark your inner flame, ignite your outer sparkle. So again, it's all about igniting what's inside. And when that comes out, all this is just extra, and it just like glows even more. And so it's like, that mind body connection, not just like, oh, let me just buy this because it's pretty. It's like, it feels good. I make it look good because I feel good wearing it. And this is how I wear it. So yeah, that's kind of where we're going with the brand. And so it's going to be a little bit more woo woo. I'm not selling mala beads or anything like that, though that's cool. But, just making it more meaningful.
Yeah. I mean, are you keeping Milestones, right?
Yeah. Everything's the same in terms of like the name is the same, but like just like the way we message to it on social media, the way we talk about jewelry is just like a little bit more intentional, and like, again, like showing people like how they can do it themselves and helping them feel confident that they can do it themselves. They don't need me. They can do it.
Right. I love that. Like you're teaching them how to fish. You're not giving them fish, but I honestly am inspired by that. And, sometimes I think we feel a little shy. Like I was, I saw one of your Instagram posts. I thought it was hilarious where it was like, yeah, that's out. Like the being conservative or wearing the one piece. Here's me, like so many years I got the one necklace. And so my son bought me these two actually recently. So cute. This one from for my birthday at the Christmas. I think they were both Christmas gifts. But so I'm like, oh, that's cute. So he keeps buying me these things. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can start like
look at you with your little stack.
I got a little stack and I'm like ready to stack. But I love that because it's sort of like feeling free a little bit. Like sometimes you're like, oh, if I do too much, maybe people think I'm too much.
And so the problem? Why is that a problem?
Right?
Too much for what?
Problem? I think you're right. Like, it's like, that saying of like, don't be afraid to, shine your light. We want to be able to shine through. And then sometimes we think that, people don't want us to do that. We're like allowing people to snuff our light. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great outward symbolism of the light that we have within us I think that's a great way to look at it, especially because you've done so much work internally and that you're applying that to your life. And I see that, like you said, it was two separate lives and now you're morphing them into one. Like this is you.
Yeah. And I think that people I think it's a little unexpected too, because I really come across, I think, and I am a very like practical person. I really have like 2 feet on the ground. So like to think of me as like being woo woo at all is kind of funny, but I'm both. So I like just was time to like bring it out, I guess. And it's just having fun with it.
Yeah, I love it. And it's so gorgeous and it's really artistic. I mean, that's an art that you have, right? To me, jewelry is what you're doing. This is kind of like putting things together and having the creativity to do that. That's really so artistic. Fun. That's an art. Like you're an artist.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I can't paint or draw for shit, but it does feel like my art. Getting dressed as a whole and helping other people get dressed has always been my art and my passion and literally the thing I love to do most in the world. I feel so bad by saying that sometimes, but I really love it. I just never get sick of it. It's crazy. I can't people ask me, who have known me in the business, after 30, 35 years, like, how do you still get so excited from seeing this ring? I'm like, it never gets old. I don't know. There's just like, there's always like a new interpretation of something that's already been done. It's all been done before, but like, wow, how did the person do that with it? It's just like, again, that's another part of the business that is so intriguing to me. And like the more personal side is like, how did that designer think of
Right.
that? How cool,
Right. And then you put your own thought to it and leverage
Yeah.
whatever designers are putting together. You seem to put like a nice combo.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's kind of also why I'd like to think that our site and our store is a destination for people, because I'm not just one brand. I carry multiple designers as well as designing our own jewelry, but mostly I carry other designer jewelry. And because of that, it's like I get this huge jewelry box to play with where I can present it differently than the jewelry designer is presenting
Right.
it, because they only have what they're working with. So it's a lot more creative. It's a lot more unique. And my mix is unlike anybody's mix, because I don't have the same 40 brands that any other store has. So
Exactly. Exactly. I could see that with all the great combinations that you're putting together, and you call out each of the designers and you give them their kudos, like
absolutely.
this is their brand. And then you're like, but guess what? I could mix this with that and do this. I love it so much. It's
Yeah.
really, really amazing. What are you thinking about? Like, a lot of times I talk about legacy, and it's so important to me that personally that I leave a legacy, or that I'm living a legacy. Sometimes I think like, do I leave it in the safety deposit box, or am I living my legacy every day? And I feel like maybe I'm living my legacy. And as I'm living my legacy and sharing what I have and the gifts that God, I believe, has given me to the world, to my family. And I feel too that it's so important. And this is how I do my art, is the writing part. I write and I create stories and I tell stories and I write children's books. I'm not the artist, I'm not the illustrator, but I can tell a story. And that's my legacy. And what do you think yours is in terms of what you wanna?
It's always so hard for me to say about myself, but what I want my children, because I think that's what you're talking about, right? For your family. What I want my children to take away from me as an example is that you can have something for yourself and you can also be a part of a family. It's a really, really hard balance. It's literally, I battle with it every day. And some days I'm a better mom and less, not as good of a businesswoman. And some days I'm a better, businesswoman and not as good of a mom. But that's the journey for me. And, I really want my kids to know like how important it is to build themselves something, that do not depend on anybody. Now, it's easy for me to say that I have like the most supportive husband who like, was cheering me on. But I think that's why it works, because I don't depend on him, even though he does so much. I don't depend on him. I know that God forbid if anything were to happen, like, of course I would be devastated, but like, I'm not like, oh shit, how am I going to keep these lights on and put food on the table for my kids? Like able. I am competent. I am smart. I may not be that smart, but I'm scrappy. I'm scrappy, and I have like my art, right? My talent. I may not be book smart, but I know how to make shit happen, and I know how to make people smile. Again, like that's the gift, and that's actually the gift for me, to be honest. Like the best thing ever to like see people smile at like something that you did. To make people feel good about themselves is like the biggest gift. But anyhow, I want my kids to know like they need to do it for themselves so they feel good about themselves, but they also need to like be a part of something, a team, a family, and like it's the people that matter.
I
That's
love that. And your legacy too, Ashleigh, I see that you're so young. It's not like you're leaving. You're not like you're leaving.
Do you know something I don't know?
No. Because sometimes you think legacy, you're like, I have to be dead to leave a legacy. It's not, you don't have to be dead. You're doing it now. So I think too, you do that for your children and your family, but you're also leaving your mark on people every day with what you're doing. With every time you are making people smile and excited and giving them something to repurpose. Like if people are going through really tough times, especially it's been such a Debbie Downer. Like our world has really been so sad and we have a lot of, sadness and illness and political stuff happening in wars. And I think, boy, how great and refreshing is it that Ashleigh Bergman's Milestones can make you smile and laugh and look forward to having a really great piece that says something about you or that you can give to somebody else. And that continues. Like this is the domino effect that you have on people, and you're making me laugh and smile and, want to invest in more jewelry. I'm ready.
I think a part of that too is like, it's not always about the jewelry too. I think that, again, I think I told you this, that I grew up wanting to be an actress, and it's a long story why that didn't happen, but I get to like perform and make people laugh still, just being my own goofy self. But there's one post that you have to check out. It just made me think of you because I know you love to laugh, that I once posted myself. I don't know what came over me. I know what came over me, the propofol, right when I came out of a colonoscopy.
Uh-oh.
It's a very short post, but it is real. And like, that's what people, I think, come to me for. It's the realness. And again, it's not just the real.
Wait, did you buy yourself a piece of jewelry? Like, hey, I survived a colonoscopy. I'm getting a ring.
No, I didn't. But, the realness is not only in like the content, and obviously like they see me show up with no makeup, with makeup, looking good, looking bad, whatever. And also that's how I am with my clients. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I'm like, Sally, you don't need that necklace. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you don't need that necklace. You already have this necklace that does the similar thing. So don't go wasting your money. Like, I'm going to tell my clients like the real, like people come to me and it's not always what they wanted to hear. Like sometimes someone will come to me with a ring design that I fucking hate. And yeah, I'll make them what they want because all I care about is making my clients happy. But if they want to know my opinion, they're certainly going to get it. And sometimes it's not what they expected. My friends of me, they're like, do I really want to ask Ashleigh if she likes the way this jacket looks on me? Because I'm going to tell them the truth. That's why they come to me,
Yeah.
But I'm not just like, no, I hate it. I'll say like, look, if you want to set that diamond like a golf ball, fuck it. I'll do it. I'll put it up to heaven. But I'm telling you, it's outdated. It doesn't look good. And you're going to be calling me every 6 months that your prongs are loose and your diamonds are shaking. And again, if you're ready for that maintenance, I got you. I'm here for you. But I'm telling you, if it were me, I wouldn't do it. But what would you like me to do? And they're like, okay, do it your way. That's why they come to me.
Of course. And they trust you. And I would love to get your opinion on stuff myself. So I do a last sip that is, well, let's do a last sip before we go. I really love our conversation. And after a last sip, we have a retreat coming up.
I am so excited. Freaking out.
I'm so psyched. So that's coming up in a couple weeks. Oh my goodness, already. Is it next week?
Like next 10 days, yeah.
I'm so happy. I can't wait. So I'll give you a really big hug and then we can talk about jewelry too when I see you. But for my last tip, I would love to hear about, maybe you can go back to a piece of jewelry that was given to you that was super, super meaningful and that you will always keep and that like brings you joy and what that means to you. And if it's something that you would pass on to your daughter.
I literally have so many things that, not that,
yeah.
Sounded terrible. I have so many things that I like really care about that means so much to me. But one piece that I just love so much is, so I'm a freak about hearts. I love hearts. in jewelry. My mom, as I mentioned, has this charm bracelet, which was very like of the times when she was growing up. It was very common for people to have these charm bracelets, and they were given these charms for every single occasion. Literally every occasion, there's a charm in there, all engraved with a date and the thing. And there's one charm on there that I love so much because it's a huge heart. And my mom's maiden name starts with a B. It's blank. And the B is made of rubies that are, it's called illusion setting, where there's no prongs or anything between the rubies. They're little emerald cut rubies to make up the B, and it's gorgeous. And the reason that I love it, other than it's my mom's and, it's her maiden name, my married name is also with a B, and my daughter's name is Ruby. So I just obviously I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get to pass this on to Ruby, and it's going to be her, it's her maiden last name too, and it's Ruby's, and her name's Ruby. And so I just love that piece so much, and it's delicious, and it never goes out of style. So
and
cool.
I forgot you named your daughter after.
I did. I love rubies.
Stone.
Love
wow.
rubies. That's a really fun.
We have come full circle. What?
Except when I tell you the story about why she was named that in person,
want to hear it.
You're gonna laugh.
Tell me.
Oh, now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as you know, I'm Jewish, and all the names that, God, this is probably so off color. You're gonna have to scratch this from the record later, but all the names that I had written down, there were a lot of them, were very waspy names, like Harrison, it was like country club girl. And my husband was like, no. And then I'd say a name and he'd be like, oh, I hooked up with a girl named whatever. I said Sloan. Oh, I hooked up with a girl named Sloan. And then I'd be like, okay, what about Blake? And he'd be like, oh, she gave really good blowjobs in high school. I'm like, please. And then I was like, okay, what about Ruby? And he's like, never had sex with a girl named Ruby. And I was like, done.
How long was that list? You're like, and what about?
There's a fucking scroll.
The list
got to the bottom, and I was like, we finally found one that works.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me that you love the stone so much that you had to call her Ruby.
That too. But also the joke of it is that Ruby is also my husband's birthstone too. And
beautiful.
That's just the joke story that I tell. Also, the real story is that my grandparents were Ruth and Robert, and Ruby was their names together, Ruth and Robert. So.
Oh, I love that.
That's also, it just all worked. I mean, my husband never hooked up with a girl named Ruby, and it was my grandparents' name.
Yeah. And what's your son's name?
Grayson.
Oh, bless their hearts. They're so cute. Well, I had such a good time catching up with you, learning so much more about you. That's amazing. And I love your background, by the way. What is that?
Thank you. This is a beautiful piece of artwork. It's actually huge. It goes up really high. But it's by this Argentinian artist that Royce and I love, and we have a couple of her pieces, and it's just really, when you stare at it, you notice all these new things every day because there's so many people. It's made with I think it's pastels and Sharpie. It's just wild. There's a lot going
gorgeous.
on.
I meant to comment on it at first, and I was like, wait, is that a tapestry or
yeah,
absolutely gorgeous.
Wild.
All right, my love. Okay, big hearts. Thank you. You're the best.
Thank you. I did you justice. You're such a queen. I cannot even believe. I'm so grateful to be on your podcast.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about it. I'm so grateful to you. You're amazing. And I wish you so much more success in your next 10 years of milestones, because this is a big, big one. When are we celebrating 10 years? Is there a party?
I'm celebrating this whole fucking year. I mean, that's saying, as I'm not buying myself one piece of jewelry, I'm buying all the jewelry all the time. Yeah.
All right. I love you. That's awesome.
I love you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Big hugs. We'll see you soon. If today's conversation made you laugh, think, or just breathe a little easier, share it with someone you love. Catch the podcast wherever you listen and follow me on Instagram for more. Remember, the porch is always open and there's always a spot for you.